shit, here we go again.
So I got a dream that I'm gonna be at the top of the scene. On every screen, making my presence something to be seen, yeah. I'll make them all see that I could be anything I wanna be. If you got a dream, then you need persistence and lots of belief, yeah. Yo, don't take that negative energy, I replace that. I just wanna be me, I don't fake that. I just wanna be free, yeah, chase that. I got a new obsession, it's helping and teaching and giving everyone a lesson. It's living and winning and building something that's impressive. I don't wanna do the same thing, I wanna be progressive, So I'ma make a new me, a new beast, a true fiend. He's everything that he wants to be. Look in the mirror, what he wants to see is a dude looking back at me. I stay on track, yeah, track things. I'm setting goals, life hacking. I'm steady stacking. I see myself being happy. A better me with a strategy that I'm attacking.
Put to the test and you know I'll lace that. Hit me in the face and I'm hitting right back. I enjoy the chase so I'll stay on track, yeah. I enjoy the race so I'll make that back. Got a lot of dreams that I'll make come true. Got a lot of things that I wanna do. Got a lot of goals that I wanna prove. And there's not a lot of time so I gotta make moves.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Divo Knives. You guys know I am a fan. If you go back to my channel just last year, there was a review on this bad boy, the original Divo Knives Stout. To this day, still one of my favorite knives that I carry very, very often. It's also been a good hard user for me as well. It's never shied away from anything. I love the feel of it in the hand, the neutral ergonomics, the incredible action. But there were a couple of things that I critiqued in my review. Not many, because there really weren't a lot of things to critique. It really is one of those great all-around knives that I wish it would have had. And now, with the Stout V2, it's getting a serious kick in the pants, a very serious upgrade. Let's take a look at the packaging first. Same packaging as the original Stout. The same very elegant brown leather zippered case with the brass zipper, Divo Knives sticker, and some of the best microfiber cloths in the world. I love their microfiber cloths. This is different than the original. It came with a white cloth. I only know that because I use it all the time for all kinds of shit. It's a great cloth. This one's different, but it's equally as nice. Now, inside of that packaging will be this. Oh, look at that. Oh. Now, forewarning, this is a prototype for the V2, so there's going to be a couple of changes from this prototype to the production model that you're going to be ordering. Number one, there will not be a filler tab on this side of the frame because it is not going to be an ambidextrous clip. What they're going to be doing is making some right-handed knives like this with the clip on the lock side, and they're going to be making some left-sided knives with the clip on the presentation side. So you'll be able to make that choice if you're a lefty or a righty, and you won't have that filler tab there taking away from the enjoyment of the beauty of this show side. Basically, they're going to make 4 right-handed versions like this. There's going to be Purple Haze, Arctic Storm. There's going to be, I'm sorry, did I just say Purple Haze, Arctic Storm? My apologies. Fat Carbon Purple Haze, Fat Carbon Arctic Storm. Pivot collar is going to be blue. There's another Arctic Storm, Fat Carbon with, Stonewash blade or satin blade. Those are the 2 different blue that you can get. And there's going to be a White Storm Fat Carbon with satin pivot collars, DLC titanium bolsters, and a 2-tone DLC belt satin blade. Now, if you are a lefty, you're one of those weirdos, you got a couple of choices. You have 2. Purple Haze with purple pivot collars and Arctic Storm with blue pivot collars. So you can have this look in a lefty version. Now, getting those things out of the way, let's get to the TLDW, to the pros, the cons. After that, we'll get to the specs very quickly, and then I'll give you my personal thoughts, the differences between the original Stout and the Stout V2, why I think this is going to be a massive, massive hit for them, and why I love the knife overall. So, TLDW, starting with pros. Number one, it is a faithful sequel to the original. It's every bit as awesome, and dimensionally it's the same, so it's a familiar feel, but it feels like it's the Stout upgraded. As a matter of fact, when Kevin was first talking about this design, he used to refer to it as the Stout Premium, I believe. And that really is what it feels like. So the sequel lives up to the original in every way, surpasses it in some ways. I think anybody that has an original Stout is going to go nuts when they put this in their hands. They're going to absolutely love it. Another pro, I really like the milling in the bolster. It adds a touch of class to it. Gives it some more character and dimension. Another pro is the anodized pivot collars. Now, while I didn't really need pivot collars because the pivot design was already nice enough, I think it does add a bit, and it allows you to kind of make a connection between the scale material and putting that same color into the bolster area. Another pro is going to be the fact that the frame is now rounded and contoured slightly versus being a completely slab-sided frame. That's going to make for a big deal for comfort for a lot of people. It's very, very nicely done. Oh, you know what? That takes me to another pro. The back spacer with the hidden lanyard post. Most people don't use lanyards. Very few people do. The ones that do really want to have a secure place to mount their lanyard. And those that don't use a lanyard don't want a disruptive feel to their design. They don't want a big hole punch through their frame or a big slot or anything like that. And this is a great, great, great way to do it. Another pro for me is going to be this upgraded milled pocket clip. It is perfect in every possible way. Now, as I understand it, and I'll get to this when I start talking about the differences between the prototype and the production, but the production, I believe Kevin said he's going to just go with a single screw instead of two. And I'll explain more about pocket clip changes in a few minutes. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption, but I promise I will make this very, very brief. I want to thank those of you that have joined and become channel members. You are helping to support the channel and helping to continue the growth. And if you've been considering supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form, because I do not have channel sponsors, I don't shill anybody's products, I don't get paid for anything, I don't do affiliate links, so everything is completely self-funded. If you'd like to help out and watch the channel grow and get more great content coming your way, please do consider becoming a member. Cons. Are there any cons? No. Now, I take that back because it's almost impossible to have zero cons. There's a little bit of a harsh edge right in here inside of the blade window, just a little bit. Now that's going to be good because your nail is going to very easily grab onto that, but you see it's taking a little bit of my fingernail off and a little bit of skin off because it's just a little tiny bit sharp, and that was not an issue with the original. Look how they did a very soft chamfer all the way around that blade window, and I've grown to really, really appreciate that. So I kind of wish that was there, and it's got a little, even though they did chamfer this, well, they stopped chamfering here at the tip, but there's a little bit of harshness on the edge of the spine. It's not a big deal really at all, but it is noticeable. You'll feel it when you pick it up. That's really about it. And I think the final con for me is going to be a pro for a lot of other people. This is a lighter weight knife than the original Stout, and I kind of wish it was heavier. Now, most people are just the opposite. They want their knife to be as lightweight as possible, and I get that. I own a lot of very lightweight knives, but I've only got those for the times where I need a lighter weight knife, where it's not going to bother me. I'm doing it because I'm wearing lighter weight clothing and it's, 100 degrees outside. But I want that substantial feeling that the original Stout has. And I mentioned that to Kevin. I'm like, hey, dude, is it me? Am I crazy? Or is the new one a little bit lighter in weight? Even though it looks like it should be heavier. There's something about it that looks like it's going to be heavier. He's like, yeah, no, it's a little bit lighter. He goes, I consider the original Stout to be the hard user and this one to be the more premium upgraded version. And I think that maybe is going to be more suited to collectors, whereas the original Stout, the V1 now, I guess you could call it, may be more for practical EDC everyday use. Not that you can't use this every day, but again, there's this feeling of substance in the original that I really, really, really appreciate. And it's got a little bit of a different sound to it as well in the bolsters when it flips open. Or flicks open, I should say. You're not flipping it. Now, another big change is going to be the blade steel as well as the grind in the blade steel. I'm having a hard time remembering what blade steel was in the original. It's not marked anywhere. It was probably 20 CV. I want to say it was 20 CV. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. But on the new one, and by the way, these are flat ground. On the new one, you've got a really nicely hollow ground blade, and it is slicey as shit. And this is going to be available in Van-X Super Clean. So yeah, all the amazing properties of Van-X in a somewhat affordable knife. I don't want to go too crazy about it being affordable because it is more expensive than the original and people are going to balk about that.
That's not affordable. That's not a budget knife.
It is. For everything that you're getting here, the way that it's packaged, the way that it feels, and with the materials that you're getting, yeah, it's very budget-minded. Absolutely. You've got 3.5 ounces for the weight, so it's very easy to carry all the time. With a 3.3-inch blade, same as the original, just a little bit more pocket-friendly if you want to look at it that way. Oh, man. All right, let's move out of here, move this over here, and get to the specs very, very quickly. I'm only going to read off a couple. The rest you'll just want to pause and read off of there. So again, 3.5 ounces on the, so it's not 3.5 ounces, it's 3.5 ounces, my apologies, in the weight. 3.3-inch blade, 7.59 inches overall. Very compact, very, very easy to carry. And the blade stock thickness is 130 thou thick. So it's just substantial enough to not be delicate, but it's not so thick that it feels like some sort of overbuilt knife. Very well thought out. Now, we've got the TLDW out of the way. We've got the specs out of the way. Just talking my personal preferences, I am massively in love with this knife. I think it is all of the perfect upgrades over the original. Now let's talk about the clip because that's a big part of the upgrade. Now, when you receive the knife, it will ship with this milled pocket clip installed on the knife. However, an interesting little trick, since it's not going to be reversible, whether you're buying left or right, this will apply equally to both. You'll be able to very simply unscrew the single screw, and inside of your packaging, there's going to be a wire clip like this. There's going to be 2 slots under here. And you can decide for yourself if you'd rather have the milled pocket clip or you'd rather have the paper clip. Now, I've always been one that hated this wire clip. Always, always, always on every knife it's ever been on. And I always want a nicely milled or sculpted pocket clip. However, this was the knife that changed my mind, the original Stout. Once I started carrying and using this knife, I fell in love with the clip. It's so, I want to say easy to use, but how is a pocket clip not easy to use? I mean, you don't even have to think about prying it open. It just drops right into your pocket, holds it securely, comes out easily. They work really, 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 really good. They just feel cheap because they move around, and they look cheap because it's not complementary to any design knife. But if you have owned a lot of knives with a wire clip and you strongly prefer them, you're going to have that option here. You're just simply going to remove a screw, take this clip off, drop this new clip in place, and screw it in, and all that's provided in your packaging. And that's a big, big deal because Kevin is one of those guys. He can appreciate a well-made milled clip. He just doesn't prefer them because they're not usually made well on a lot of knives, especially in this kind of price point. So he would much rather have the wire clip. Is it attractive though? No. But you're going to forego the attractive properties of a design for something practical more times than not. Now let's talk about, there is a little bit of a price increase. I'm having a hard time remembering what the price was on this. If I can reference it, then I'll write it up here on the screen while I'm editing the video. But this one, the brand new one, these are going to be $325 if you get in on the pre-order. If you don't get in on the pre-order and you buy them when they go live, which will probably be 6-7 months from now, you'll be paying $375. So you save $50 by doing the pre-order. And that helps to support the brand. It helps them to get all of these made. Because believe me, folks, making knives is a large investment. And it's a big risk. You could think that you've got the greatest design known to man, and you get them all in and go, okay, I got to sell 500 of these now? Gee, I hope they sell because I have basically most people's yearly salary wrapped up in those boxes that are stacked up on my dining room table now. So doing the pre-order allows a smaller business to be able to produce these at this level with this kind of quality and give you a good price. So if you do that, you save $50. If you wait, then there's a $50 penalty. That's the way it is. So you choose left-handed, right-handed, you choose your blade finish, you choose your inlays, and you're good. You're done. And just like the original, it feels fan-friggin-tastic in the hand. So you've got very neutral ergonomics to the frame overall, and you've got this large but not overly deep forward finger choil to lock into. You've got great jimping back here to lock your thumb onto. You could still do a nice pinch grip and bring your finger up toward the tip. It's very, very easy to control. There is an indent here, a depression here that's much better for your finger. So if you're cutting something that you've got to put a little bit of finesse into, you're going to have control over the tip with your finger, your index finger on the spine of the blade. The action is addictive. It feels fan-friggin-tastic, just like the original. Here it is basically, I don't want to say it's been a full year, because I got this just before I made my cross-country move. This was the knife that basically got me through the move, packing, unpacking, cutting open boxes, tearing down cardboard. I was so thankful to have this knife at that time, so I believe this was somewhere around August or September of 22. It's now July of 23, so it's been almost a year. And it still feels fantastic. I still carry it a lot. I still use it a lot, and I love it. And I changed the scales because he made these sunset orange scales as an available option later on down the road. And that may be something that you could get here. I don't know. Right now, just focus on what you're able to order. If they're going to offer additional scale sets in the future, great. If not, no big loss because they chose some really, really great colors for the versions that are being offered. This has all the things that I love about the original. The insane action. the great ergonomics, the great feel to it. I do like the fact that they added jimping where it wasn't here on the original. Because again, this is a knife shape that you really are going to want to use it often. So having it made where your hand locks in and you do feel confident using it is just better all the way around. I love the bead blasted finish. I like it a lot more than the original finish on here, which again, they're not too dissimilar, but I think by adding the milling, it gives you a nice three-dimensional look to it. You know, the shadows fall into the valleys of the milling. It just adds more depth to it that I really, really appreciate. I like the pivot collars. They don't do anything for the function of the knife, but they sure look good, and they kind of pull the entire look together, in my opinion. I've always liked the funky lock bar cutout that they've done. One thing to keep in mind that this is a bolster lock knife. This is not a frame lock and it's not a liner lock. So when you're holding it, you might feel the outside or inside edge just barely of the inlay. This is normal. This is exactly how all bolster locks operate. They go from the scale being completely flush with the titanium lock to the titanium lock moving away from it as it engages in the open position. That's just the way it is. So you may feel that a little bit, but it's certainly not going to be an inconvenience. Overall, fantastic design, beautiful aesthetics, a worthy upgrade, and if you already own a Stout original, it is pretty much guaranteed that you're going to fall in love with the V2. I know I did, just from seeing it, from Kevin playing with it, and I saw it and went, that looks really good. And then when I opened the package, and I pulled it out and felt it in my hand, felt the action, and went, shit, this is everything I could have wanted. Again, I wish it had just a teeny tiny little bit more heft to it. They could have gone without machining the pockets inside to reduce the weight a little bit, but overall, it's exactly what I would have wanted it to be. It is the perfect follow-up to the original, which was already a friggin' outstanding knife. For those of you that are going to be doing the pre-order, you get to save that $50. Comment down below if you have an original Stout V1 and you're excited about V2, what you're hoping out of it, what you're hearing in this video and seeing in this video that either affirmed your wishes or realized your biggest fears. I don't know. But I want to hear from you guys if you own an original Stout. Tell me what you think of the original Stout, and if you think this matches up well to the legacy that the original has already forged. I mean, it really is that fantastic of a knife. I've shouted its appeal for a year, and I'll continue to do so, except now I might be focusing a little more heavily on the V2. I've been carrying this a lot this week, and I've enjoyed it every bit as much as the original. And for those that fear this new pocket clip, because you're used to the wire clip, this is nearly as effortless. It is not completely as effortless going into the pocket over a big, wide, double-sewn, thick seam of jeans pockets, but it's still easy. It still works very, very well. And I don't see a lot of people really switching it out to the wire clip. You'll have it, you'll be able to. I just don't see a lot of people that are going to feel the need to do it, to be honest with you. Anyway, them's my thoughts. We'll see if you guys agree when you receive your knives. And I'll see you on the next video.